Hello friends and welcome back to the Mothership. Today we are smoking up some beef back ribs and we are going with an espresso balsamic glaze. Let's get started. What we have here is a rack of beef ribs. Let's get it out of its cryovac and see what we're working with here. Now, as you can see with this rack, they did leave a bit of the sternum on here. And honestly, with beef ribs, it is kind of a pain in the butt to break them out with like spare ribs or baby back ribs. You can just cut right through there. I'm not going to destroy my knives on these beef ribs by doing that, so I'm just going to cook it as is and take them out when we're ready to eat. But in general, for the membrane, I don't take it off for beef ribs. I just score it like so. I like to keep the membrane a little bit intact because it does hold together. On pork ribs, you don't need that membrane to keep everything together, but you do kind of need it on beef. So I just do a little cross section like so. Now on this side, I just look for any crazy pockets of fat, of which this doesn't seem to have any. So I think we're going to be okay there. But if you've watched any of my channel videos before, you know what's coming next. We are going to salt it. I like to use a ratio of a half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon per pound of meat. In this case, you can probably think about maybe half of this weight is going to be in bone. So if these are 4.5 pounds, you know, do the math, figure out as much as you want. But in general, we just want to coat down the meat side. You don't really have to worry about the bone side in salt. Boom, and that's it. This is going to go in my fridge to let it dry brine and let all that salt get absorbed. Then we'll come back and put a little bit more seasoning on. In general, most of the flavor on these is going to come from our base at the end, but we want to get some base flavor on, and that'll help us create that good bark too while it's cooking. But right now, into the fridge, let it rest, let all that salt get absorbed completely. Now our ribs have had plenty of time to absorb all that salt, so let's get a rub on there. I am going to go with my Supernova coffee rub. Only difference on this recipe versus what we'll have on my website is that instead of just using regular black coffee, I am using espresso. I mean, we're making an espresso base that we're putting on at the end, so I figured may as well keep the espresso going and not just use coffee. But basically, I'm just going to coat these down, and I'm going to pat it in, get all the excess off. You know the drill. I usually don't focus on the bone side of these guys because realistically, I'm not eating the bone. But now just pat it on. Everything that comes off goes onto the sides. And the same on this side. Now, as you can see, I didn't use a binder. It's one of the perks of using the salt first method. You bring out some moisture from the ribs, which gives you a nice tacky surface to adhere your rub to. But this is good. Now we just need to get our smoker up and running, and we'll toss these on. Ribs are now on, and we are cooking. As you can see, these are pretty big, so they're taking up a large portion of my kettle, but they'll shrink a bit, and I'll move them back off. Basically, I just don't want them directly over the heat because we're doing indirect heating, but yep, got some water going. Throwing wood chunks on. I'm using apple wood. Basically anything would probably work with these. I'm just going to keep running and keep monitoring the bark until it sets. And we'll see if we need to spritz it or not. All right, about 3 hours in. This is what we're working with right now. Oof. I'm just letting it run. Honestly, I haven't felt the need to do any spritzing. There's still some moisture on here. The parts that are dry, the bark is set, but there's some moisture in there, so I think they're good to go. So I haven't felt the need to spritz on anything. If you do want to spritz, I mean, you could absolutely try coffee. That's kind of interesting, considering we're doing a coffee style cook today, but usually I just go with apple cider or apple cider vinegar. Just continuing to put smoke on there with some chunks and just letting it do its thing. I'm about 183 degrees. I'm probably going to start to actually base it down in our sauce, maybe around 190, 195 in that area. And then I'm just going to keep doing that until we go to the very end. But we'll come back when it's actually time to make our baste. And then when we throw it onto the ribs. It smells good, guys. I'm excited. As our ribs get closer and closer to being finished, it's time to make our glaze. We're going to start with some balsamic vinegar, a freshly brewed espresso, although just a regular hot, strong coffee will work as well. Some brown sugar, some Worcestershire sauce, some Dijon mustard, some paprika, some black pepper, some kosher salt, and some garlic powder. Now what we want to do is mix this together, and it goes onto the stove and it reduces by about half. Now this has had time to reduce. What I'm going to do lastly is just drop some butter in. That'll make it a little bit smoother, and it'll make it go onto our meat a little bit better. Should melt pretty quickly in this extremely hot glaze. Now our ribs are on the back end of cooking. It's time to take this outside and give them a good baste. And we're going to finish these ribs up with some delicious balsamic espresso. Let's get outside, guys. Now for these ribbies, we just want to give them a baste every, I don't know, 15 minutes until they're done. Basically get a bunch of that flavor on there. This is where the bulk of our flavor is coming from. Obviously, we have that rub on there. We have the salt already in there. So they're going to be good ribs off the bat. But this is giving it a different level of flavor, and this is what we're looking for. So get a whole bunch on there. We're going to baste it a bunch of times, and we're going to take it until the point where they're actually ready to get pulled. So if you know me, that's the flapper test. Temperature-wise, we're looking at around, I don't know, somewhere between 198 to 203. That's usually the good spot for ribs. But for me, I like to lift them up in the middle, and then when they come down almost at 90 degrees, that means they're ready to go. But I'm just going to keep doing this over and over again until they're ready to pull. I've had about 4 bastes, and honestly, these ribs are done, guys. This is what I do to check them. Get about halfway in there. Look at that. That's 90 degrees. Those are done. Everything here is perfect. What I'm going to do is take them inside, put them in tinfoil, and they're going to go into my toaster oven, and kept it about 120 to 140 degrees for about an hour. Honestly, a roto-molded cooler that's really nice and hot, that'll work too. Just anything to keep the temperature, essentially what you do for a brisket or pulled pork or anything, but these have to rest. So they're going inside, into my toaster, and we'll come back when it's time to cut them up and see how they taste. All right, guys, now this is a little bit of a weird one, I'll be honest with you. To be honest, we were talking about different types of flavors, and you know what, this one just came up, and to be frank, it seems a little bit strange, but it smells so good. I think it's gonna be really, really good. If you've watched this channel before, you know that I love my coffee rub, especially on my beef back ribs. They are my favorite. Coffee rub, beef back ribs is always a great start, but adding in that espresso glaze, I think it's gonna be really, really good. But most importantly, guys, the proof is gonna be in the pudding, so let's cut out one of these ribs here. If you guys wanna get a look from the side, you can see we have a beautiful, beautiful smoke ring on there. These are really good looking ribs. Honestly, you can't beat that. The Weber kettle always comes through, especially with beef back ribs. But most importantly, let's give it the old fashioned chomp and see how we did. Now there is a ton of flavor on these ribs, guys. That balsamic vinegar is definitely come through. You can taste the espresso, and the way I cook these, a ton of smoke on there, which is fantastic. I love good smoke. Guys, this is one of the weirdest cooks I've ever done. Balsamic vinegar and espresso is not something you'd expect to get out of a rib, but honestly, this is really, really good. And with that deep coffee rub on the front end, you know what? This is really, really good, guys. If you guys are getting tired of the standard barbecue ribs, give this one a try. This is really, really good. It's super unique, and honestly, I'm digging it. We're gonna really enjoy eating this one tonight, guys. You guys know that beef ribs are my favorite, and if you start out with salt first, do a really good rub, and then whatever you put on the end, whether it's a glaze or barbecue sauce, it's gonna be really, really fantastic. This is super good. I'm actually really excited to eat the rest of these. Guys, give this one a try for sure. But most importantly, I'd love to know what you guys are cooking down below. You guys doing ribs? You doing beef ribs? What are your favorite kind of bizarre kind of beef ribs or spare ribs, whatever kind of ribs? Let me know what the weirdest cook you're doing on your ribs down below. Love to hear from it, but most importantly, get out there and cook some absolutely fantastic, and I'll see you on the next UFO barbecue. Gonna eat this. Bye-bye.